Hello, hello, hello. Oh, yes, Stretch. Good evening. It is Friday. I am so stoked to be here. We are in August, and I am back with literally somebody who I love to talk to. You guys love to hear talk about gear. But we did this a little while ago, and I don't know if you saw it. I got some stuff in my eyes. Oh my God. I don't know if you saw it when we did this before, but we got together, we shot the breeze, and we talked about the rollerblade Sean Keen blank skate. That's right. I'm talking about having Lawrence back. Yes. We're going to nerd out. Yes. And we're just going to get educated on the next skate. So if you didn't join that first review, don't worry. We're going to get you all caught up. But do check it out because it's hilarious. But if you didn't join, you didn't see how we got down, you'll learn that there's a little insider trading that's going on between Lawrence and I. Nothing too Martha Stewart crazy. But in the realm of rollerblading, it means that I get to try a bunch of different skates and Lawrence gets to pick them for me. So I'm not even picking my own skates. I'm just literally getting a box with something new. And last time we were live, we were talking about the rollerblade Sean Keen. We both got gifted that skate, so we were both able to try our own versions. We talked about it. And then he told me about the next skate, which I had, the USD VII. So at the end of that episode, I asked him, well, what's coming my way after this one? And he told me, so we'll get to there. We'll get to the third skate in the saga. But for now, tonight we are live. Thank you to all those joining us live. Thank you to all those joining us post live, checking it out afterwards. As always, like, subscribe, thumbs it up, get rollerblading higher in the algorithms. Go check out Back to Blading. If you're not, you're whack. So do that. Pause me and go right now. Sign up, subscribe for Back to Blading because your boy's lit. Channel's dope. It's like one of those channels where you really see a human, right? There's no gloss and glam. There's no oh, I'm the greatest skater in the world. It's like, no, I'm a dude who's older, who wants to skate, but also loves to skate and loves to talk about skating, the products, the ingenuity, what's behind the scenes. So check it out. I've been a fan since day one, so you should really join me and be a fan. And of course, like and subscribe here. Blading on the Brain. Yeah. But I'll digress if I talk too long. And then you guys will be mad at me because you'll be like, here goes another rollerblader with a 7-minute intro to a video and then he skates. I'm not going to do that to you. So instead, drum roll. I'm going to bring my boy up to the stage. Come join me, Lawrence. What is up? It is good,
Not
man.
much. The 7-minute intro before skating, that's my line. That's what I do.
Yo, I grew up in the Lino era, right? It's literally what I do. I thought that's what we were
Yeah.
supposed to do. Slow-mos before you put your skates on. They're beautiful, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There used to be a whole segment where I would put my pads on too. I took that out.
You had to take that
Kind of
out? See?
streamline it a little bit,
20-minute intros are out. They're gone.
Yeah. You
Oh,
gotta look at the
wow.
analytics, see what the people want.
You gotta see, or at least go on Blade Hate and find out what
Yeah,
they
there you
really
go.
want, and
There you go.
that'll set you straight immediately. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you
Absolutely,
for
man. Here to happy to
signing
help.
on to do this guest combo. People don't expect it. I think people aren't even really sure that we're really friends. But hey y'all, it's true. We're actually friends. I text
It's
this guy on the
very
low.
funny. It's funny. Who would have thought? If
I
it weren't for rollerblading.
It would have been for some weird nerdy stuff anyway. We'd have
There you go.
JavaScripted our way into friendship. It's cool. We'd have
There you
figured it
go.
out.
There
We'd
you
have
go.
figured it out. But you're here tonight because we're running this back. How did you enjoy the blank? Really, on your end. I had a good time. Did you have a good time with the blank?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was great. I think this is something that, I do Gear Talk every other Wednesday. And, it's nice to have a conversation by myself, but it's not really, you know, there's no dialogue there, right? It's just me talking and then we get the comments in the live stream, but that's not interactive as much as having somebody across the country that I can talk to.
I completely agree. I think we both share a love of reviewing skates, talking about
Mm,
the actual physical skate itself, the design aspects, the comfort, the things we love, the things we hate, right? We actually generally enjoy that. And I always get a kick out of watching yours. I like your 8 minute
Mm.
reviews, like when you do the quick ones. I like your like multiple day reviews where you've actually given the skate a long, like thorough beat down, and then you come back and
Hmm.
talk about it. And I've kind of patterned a lot of what I do after what you do. So to have you come on is like, all right, well, obviously we're like minds and we might as well just
Yeah, yeah.
get this out of the way at one time. Why y'all watching two videos? Just watch us. One time, we got this.
There you go. But I will say that we both have different feet,
Yes.
different tricks,
Wait,
different
what? Different
styles,
feet?
different likes, and that is what brings this collaboration together. I feel like looking at a skate, we can both be objective about it, but then there's a lot of subjectiveness. There's no arguing that the blank skate is fairly heavy,
Right.
but maybe the backside is good. Maybe the buckle system is good. Maybe the liner is good. Like those are things that different feet, different ankles, different likes, that's going to change everybody's opinion.
Yeah, actually, you bring up a really good point because we have a mutual friend. You know Kevin Chow, right? We know
Hmm.
Kev Chow, the homie, baby
True.
Aoki. So he's up in Canada, and he hits me up occasionally. And so he was just like, "Yo, I saw your review with Lawrence, and I got some rebuttals." And I was like, "I'm here for that. I'm
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
day here for the rebuttals." And he sent me like an IG like video message or a voice message, and I didn't get it. It like deleted maybe or like something happened. I really couldn't play it. And I was like, I can't play these. I was like, but if you want to just come on and have a rebuttal conversation, like I'm more than happy to do that.
There
Let's
you go.
just bring it on. Like, what is your view? Like, I think he has a different view than we do, which is great. We all should.
Yeah, that's
That's why we
great.
have a
Yeah,
hundred models of skates.
that's exactly it. And the beauty of skates, especially as you get older and you've got a little bit more disposable income, is you can try different skates. You can support the industry and dial in that fit so that you find the skate that's perfect for you.
Oh my God. And that's exactly where I'm at. Like, I mean,
There we go.
real talk. I am on the journey. I am deep in the journey. We'll talk about this leg of the journey today, but I feel like I am knee deep in this exodus. I'm wading through the mud. I left the
Yeah.
clear shores over there
Yeah.
of Adapt. Like I remember them. They were really nice.
Yeah.
And then I jumped ship and I started wading through the middle of like Forrest Gump. I'm like wading through the middle of Washington D.C. National
Yeah, yeah,
Monument, and
yeah.
I'm trying to get to Jenny, and I don't know where Jenny is. I haven't seen her yet. She hasn't showed up, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
the form of a beautiful skate that I'm gonna put on, and it's gonna inspire me to go do Christ grinds. Right? That's all. That's what we're here for. I mean.
It's the trick of the year, that's for sure.
Lord, if I never stomp on my foot again by accident, I'll be so happy.
So long as you're not riding shadows, you'll be okay. If
Oh,
you
and
ride
those were
shadows
the
and you stomp on
days.
your foot, that is not a good feeling.
And same with adapts. I was talking to someone as I
Yes,
was,
seriously.
eyeballing their adapts, and I was like, I would come off a trick sometimes and just like step on my own toes and feel like such an idiot.
Yeah,
Like, how could you hurt yourself? Like,
it hurts,
you should be better than this. But it's true. Those
man.
soft boots, they'll do that. But right now, I'm on a hard boot tip. I'm
This is
tough.
true.
New me, 1996 me, all back again in hard boots, like just putting them on. And as you see in the background, y'all, we are here to chop it up. We love chopping it up. We talk to each other. We like to do this, but we're here to really talk about a skate. And it's right there in the background. And it's right here in my hand. That's right,
Mm.
right here. You sent me this beauty. I don't even know where to put it with this mic. There we go. That's probably best. You sent me this beauty.
Yes,
USD
sir.
7 Clan, right? It's the USD 7 Clan, I think.
It was the team skate. I think the
Mm.
clan was all black. That
With a
was the
white cuff, maybe.
yeah, maybe, maybe. They've been through a few different iterations. That's actually the second or third version. The first one I think was the Gricon,
Oh my
and
god.
then they did a bunch of skinned versions of
Oh
that
my
boot.
god. Why are you bringing up? Why would you bring that
Yeah.
up?
Yeah,
You,
yeah. Well, that's the beauty of that skate is that it's been around forever. And it dropped off in 90 or in 2000, when was it? 2019 maybe?
mm,
And then it came back under the Gods brand
right,
last year as
right.
the Tim Franken.
Yep.
And I honestly thought that that skate was just completely gone. Like it was never going to come back. They had the Roman Abrate, which was like the
Yeah.
last hurrah of the
That
USD
was
seven.
really the last, like, especially
Yeah,
pro to be in it. And I feel like at a
yeah.
time they were pushing, USD does this where they allow for pros to sometimes be in a simpler boot, right? A more
Hmm.
basic boot or something. I don't know if they force them to. I don't know the politics. But you often will see a Brate like a Roman with a very simple basic boot like this one. And
Right.
you're like, you're expecting a high end boot, but you see the simple boot and it's very nice. I actually quite appreciate it.
Yeah. But it did come with Caltech frames, which was the
Ah,
first time, I think, in a long time that USD did a collaboration with a different brand. They're very, incestual. They have a lot of great brands, so I don't blame them. But for
facts.
them to reach out and do Caltech,
Yeah.
that was a pretty big deal.
Well, I remember
Skinned USD 7, love it.
yeah, I have to go now. Go look back for pictures of that because I
Yeah.
think I erased skinned boots out of my like memory. I think I like just completely were like that
Yeah.
didn't happen. Like the Dre Powell razors didn't happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think I whitewashed it. I hit it myself with a Men in Black. It was like
Right.
that couldn't. We didn't do that, Sean Kelso. We didn't make that skate, did we? We did. Ah,
We've done some crazy stuff. And that USD 7, before it was the Grycon, remember the Josh Petty, the purple and
no,
gold,
yes.
that crazy shit.
What was that?
That's
Was
another
that the
I
legacy?
wasn't
What's
here.
that even called? Oh my god, someone
It,
look that
I
up. I forget
The
what that was
Legacy
called.
was its own skate. That
Yeah.
was that was a skinned Grycon.
Oh,
I had no involvement with that. I wasn't even
thank
here.
goodness.
That's on y'all. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't see
fair, fair. I bought zero pairs of
that.
that skate, so yes, I helped that skate usher its way in and out. Like I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, that was a purple and gold. Purple being my favorite color. Like you'd think I would have some
Yeah.
affinity, and I remember it being just like this heavy cuffed like
Yeah, not good.
situation. But I will
Not
say, what they did do, and we can start the review here because I just spent
good.
a month on these. Actually, two
Yeah.
months. I spent 2 months on these. I took some time off because life was crazy, and I went to New York and I just lived life without skates, which is very rare for me to go somewhere without skates. I mean, I've traveled my whole life with skates somewhere close, but I have put in the work. When I talked to you before, I was like, I'm not going to review this skate until I literally put in the work.
That's right.
And if you didn't check it out, y'all that are watching, check out my 44 for 44 this year, where I put in work
Hmm.
on these. Like I did 44 tricks in what I think was like my second session in these skates,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Like I remember
Yeah.
writing you and being like, yo, there's like something about a basic boot
Yeah.
that just allows for you to feel comfortable slapping things around. Like you're just like, I'm gonna try it
Yep.
and I'll go for it. And when you've got solid flat frame or flat sole plate, flat
Yep.
boot, and there's a lot to work with.
Yeah.
There's
They did a lot right with that boot, no doubt. Which is surprising. And when I came back and learned about it, I was like, why isn't every boot like this? Like
mm,
it checks all the boxes. The only negative
yeah, I
to
was
it,
gonna
I
say it
think,
doesn't
is the
check every box
aesthetics.
yet.
No, 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 no. I agree. But the flat sole, like the replaceable sole plate, flat sole plate, is super light. Like
Two,
there's a lot to
I
like
think there's
about it.
like two or four, yeah, four screws, three screws,
Yep.
three screws.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's responsive. And you came from skating USD carbons before your adapts. You know that feeling when you skate fairly tall-ish frames on the just a sole plate that's mounted with just two frame bolts. You get a little bit of flop. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
ever watch Frankie skate those the gods, the FM3s or the FM4s, you can see when he's doing top sides, there's a little bit of a bend going on there. That's because, in my opinion, that sole plate is moving because all that's mounted to is those two frame bolts. You
Right.
need something that mounts that sole plate to the boot, and that's what the USD 7 does really well.
I see exactly what you're meaning is that you get, especially I remember it with the carbons, you would get to this place where
Hmm.
you had to make a decision. You're like,
Hmm.
am I gonna like sit so I can hold this
Hmm.
so I can be balanced and flat, or am I gonna like decide to come off fakie early because I'm kind of rolling my way out of the trick and I don't want to roll it,
Yeah,
right? No
yeah, yeah.
rolling your top sides, people. Okay, boys and girls and thems and theys out there, no rolling your top soles. We don't like that. Sometimes you just got to get out early and do a 180 out because you're like, you know what? I'm gonna save myself the ridicule and I'm how I
There you
spin
go.
out of this.
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
That's exactly, and I felt like and you're absolutely right, with the solid plate of the carbon, I felt like that would happen to me at like a certain either
Yeah.
junction in the length of the ledge, like with my own balance point, or it would be like just a moment when I wasn't in a perfect body position, and it
Yeah.
would either be, you know, get off the pot or you kind of stick.
Yep.
Sometimes you're just gonna stick. Like that's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna flex too much, and you're gonna be in the worst position. So I agree.
Yeah.
What they did do right also with this skate was, and it's a give and a take here, is this wide toe box.
Yep.
Like I
No doubt.
love not having my feet get scrunched in these.
I don't think anybody's ever complained about a toe box being too wide.
No.
Like we all have issues when they're too skinny, like USD Aeon or I mean
Rossies.
Rossies are fairly tight up there. Yeah. And you get the lacrosse ball or the baseball and you shove it in there with a hair dryer and it's like not a problem at all with the USD 7. Sadly though,
I mean, look at
I
this
think
thing. Like that is huge.
it's huge.
That
The
is.
sizing itself is a little off,
Yeah.
and I think we'll talk a little bit about that. But
Yeah.
the biggest problem that I had with the Frankens was that the Tim Franken shipped with this really thin, like performance liner,
Inside of this.
but it was way too thin. Like I don't know if you skated a thin liner with that skate, but it doesn't work.
Well, I would
The shell
imagine you're
sizing
just like
doesn't
this
move
the
around too
whole
much.
time in there. And there's no
Absolutely.
45 strap on this. We'll get to that.
There's
Like
no
that-
45 strap. Yeah.
You're just going to be swimming inside of that shell. So, I mean,
Yep.
with that, great points. I loved the sole plate. I loved the basic construction. I really appreciated the durability of the skate. Like, I'm going to be honest, we don't talk about that all the time, but, like, I didn't feel badly at all for beating the crap out of this skate. Like, I was just like, if it didn't work, toss it, throw it down. And with the daps, that's a Maserati.
Scary,
You got to put that down lightly. You got to park that properly. You can't just, like, slam it inside of the, to parallel park it. This thing, you just, like a tank, you just toss it, chuck it, throw it in there. I thought that, I didn't have any problems with the liner. I think the liner is comfy. It gave enough of the wiggle in my foot, so the top of my foot had room to breathe, but also like my toes had room to breathe. So there was no challenges there. And then I thought that they did a really good job of keeping the lace locks the eyelets close.
Yeah.
It could have been really easy to make this like a Rems where the eyelets are like hella far apart, and then this skate would have been horrible if I didn't have some way to create control.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly. I'm struggling with that with the FR1s right now, where the lacing is so wide that it feels like the laces are the only thing keeping my liner from lifting up.
just
inside
coming
the
right
skate.
out. Yep.
Yeah. I love that about the USD 7. I think again, aesthetically, it doesn't look like much. It's just this blob. And I wish that they added a little bit more. I think the Tim Franken, the God's Team skate, they look a lot better. So
Did they add like
improved that.
contouring or some sort of like?
Yeah, it's almost like a patent leather patch where some of the areas are polished, like around the toe and around the heel, and then they added a little bit of branding. It's not much, but it's enough to make it look like something, versus the 7, which looked like a skate that went inside a skin, like we don't need to do anything to this skate because nobody's ever going to see it. And then it's like, oh, let's sell it without the skin. And it's like, oh, but I'm not ready. Like I don't have my clothes on, that sort of thing.
Yo, it is definitely a naked shell. And like this one that you sent, it has like this little kind of like what looked like you might have hit it with a little Dremel.
Totally.
Because
I'm sure it's just me falling down. But the little shine on the toe.
So that's what they added to the Franken, and I could see that being, it will bring the overall size of the boot when you're looking down at it in. I was telling my wife that I had these shoes back in the 90s that had this like toe cap on it, kind of like what a faction skate has. Like it had like this little section right in the front, and it took my size 11 shoe and made it look so small from above. Like I just was like, oh, look at these size 9s. Look at me, dainty foot, right? And it was just the optical illusion of not having the full to the end visual of the toe that gave me like,
Yeah,
oh, well, maybe it's not that long. It's a little shorter. So
absolutely.
definitely, I appreciated the laces. I thought the laces were smart. And once again, though, if the lace like eyelets weren't this close,
Yeah.
we'll get into it because this shell break. What is the shell break on this?
So it's supposed to be 44, but it's more like 45.
Like 49.
It's a yeah, it's a big shell.
Yes.
And it was never a problem because I'm a solid 44, 28.5 centimeter. It was never a problem for me with that big fat boy liner. But when you're using a liner to compensate for a shell break, you got to keep on that. And that's where I think the Tim Franken kind of fell, that the 44 was actually like a 45, 46 because the liner was so thin.
Yeah, I feel like sizing a full size down on this skate would be appropriate for me.
No doubt.
Like, and
You could
that's rare.
easily, easily, you could get into the 42 with like a thinner liner. No question about it.
And that's how I feel because as I started to work through this skate and start to beat it up and do what I promised, which is really skate it, I realized
Hmm.
that I was demotivated to skate. Like I was like, why haven't I skated in a month? I was like, yeah, life just threw some crazy stuff at me, and it's a little hectic and
Hmm.
family. And I was like, but like honestly, I don't think I want to skate these. I think like
Hmm.
so I went out solo for a mini ramp session, and I was just flopping all over the place, just
Yeah.
foot just shamu wailing, just no
Yeah.
control. And it had been a solid like 6 weeks since I skated. So then I went right back out like 2 days later, and I was like, okay, let's see
Hmm.
what happens like once the muscle memory's back. And we were skating this really awesome ledge that I'm gonna go back to because it was really fun. And I just
Hmm.
found myself so frustrated with the lack of control and what I felt
Yeah.
was a slab on my foot.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
I couldn't get down in my top soles. I couldn't I couldn't
Yeah.
find the sit. This cuff was digging into my
Yeah.
ankle, and I just thought like,
Yeah.
even my
Yeah. Yeah.
back. Come on, Lawrence,
Yeah. That's very true.
if I'm not trying to back royale, something is wrong. Something is wrong
It's
in
the
the
trick.
milk. Like the milk
Yeah.
gone bad if I'm not trying to back royale.
And I'll say those are fairly good sole plates for back royale,
Yes.
but if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. Like it doesn't matter. I always say this. It doesn't matter what features a skate has or how good the sole plate is or how the 45-degree strap works. If you're slopping around inside that skate, like it doesn't matter because you have no control. You're just jumping up on sole and you're like, hey, whatever, like slapping your foot down.
And that's literally what I felt like. I was just and
Yeah.
after I think a solid cardio. I put in more than a power hour that day. And it was with a good
Mm.
group. We had Thais was ripping it, South
Nice. Yeah,
American
yeah,
skate.
yeah.
She's just wow, she's good, and she's
She's
just
amazing.
tearing
Yeah.
it up. And so I'm motivated by her. I got Sneak out there destroying Babcock. Like the whole
Sick.
squad is out there. Even Victor Arias is
It's a
out
good
there
session.
crushing. Yes,
Wow.
and
Everyone.
like I at some point was like, and I was like, what is that feeling? I was like,
Yeah.
I think me and these skates have had their time. I think the
The
slapping
skate is
around is just
done.
not like if I were a size lower and I felt like I could really control what
Yeah.
was happening and I had the right hug, then I could feel it. And so I started going, well, is it the 45-degree? Is it
Yep.
the cuff height? Because then, everything starts to like fall apart, right? You're like, everything's bad. It's just the whole skate's terrible. And I was like, but
Seriously.
Kenan,
Yeah.
you did 44 tricks in this.
Yeah. I mean, the glamour of it, the fun of it, the newness of the relationship, you're out of the honeymoon period
I
now.
did.
And you're like, well, you see the little things that after skating it for a while and going back that I started to see.
Mm.
It's not enough to just be this, on paper, really great skate. It needs to also fit properly. And that's, the major thing that I had an issue with that skate is that it just didn't feel right on my foot.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. I think while having similar, like, like I would say similar knees maybe, but like while having like similar thoughts around skates and having different tricks, that was
Hmm.
my ultimate feeling was that my toe just was. It's like a rudder. Like you use
Yeah.
your toe to like get the right pressure point to find the middle ground, and especially if you're in
Hmm.
a topsole, that front foot, if that toe is just then your front foot's
Yeah.
doing weird stuff, and I just could not find comfort. And you're right, it's the
Yeah.
honeymoon period, and it's why I appreciate your videos, your reviews, because
Mm,
you never settle with the first one. You give us
right.
a little box opening, you give us like a first impressions, but that's it.
Right.
That's first impressions. That is not like, hey yo, I'm doing a full on review on this skate yet, because you
That's right.
gotta get in there. You gotta like beat it up. You gotta feel out the liner, and so
Yeah.
I think for me, these are a solid skate. I think I would tell
Hmm.
anyone it's not true to size. You
Right.
can size down even in this digital age where you can't try anything on first. I would still recommend
Right.
that anyone size down. But I think this was like what 290 when it came out. I think it's like a two something.
So when I bought them, yeah, they were in the twos, probably more like 240. They were fairly cheap, and it was a complete skate. Came with featherlight through or
Right, exactly.
fluid fours, I
Mm-hmm.
think. Um, you know, Fat Boy liner, like Fat Boy
It's
liner.
a good
There
liner.
was
It's a
the
good liner.
Yeah, it's a good
It's
liner.
a good
Yeah, it's a
liner.
good liner. Again, it's a great skate. I think if you could downsize a little bit, I think you'd be in really good shape.
Yeah. I see there's a someone on the IG, I can't think of their name right now, but they always like paint their sevens. They do some
Mm,
crazy like they throw like patterns on them or some
nice.
fur, right? And they have
Yeah,
and because it's just a basic skate, you really can like have a good
yeah, yeah.
time being artistic on the boot.
Right.
But yes, I would suggest everyone size down. And then I think this is like in terms of I think it's greater than a beginner skate. I think this is like good like
Yes.
middle ground. You're really trying to like get your skills up. You feel comfortable with grinds. You
Hmm.
feel comfortable with airs, and you're really trying to take that next step. I think this is a great middle ground skate for
Yeah.
someone.
And to be clear, now you get them as the Gods Team Skate. So it is a plastic shell that God sells. I don't know what the price of that is. My money is on like 280 or so,
Same.
but it's not under the USD brand anymore. It's under the Gods brand. It looks slightly different, but
Hmm.
it's still going to be the same shell, the same quality that we've expected.
And that makes sense when you know Tim Franken, you know his skating. Like he's a
Yeah.
beast.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
would I think he would probably destroy a soft boot skate. I don't see what I got to look back at footage and see how he fared with the original Frankies and whether he just
Mm.
like completely destroyed that leather on the outside because he's such a beast. He's such a tank of a skater that like this makes
Yeah.
sense for someone who's hard like that on their skates. And his were black and gold, which was beautiful.
Yep. Hmm.
Team is white. You did a black and gold run.
Yep.
You had a nice frame, black and gold.
Yeah, yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it
We
was,
did John From's. So it was John From's frame was a white with gold, and then you could swap out the prime
I love that.
walls and then put on a black. It was
That
really
was
nice,
pretty.
nice change of
That
color.
was pretty. I saw it and I was like,
Yeah,
ooh, that's blingy.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I would give this skate. I think this skate's solid. I think like it's
yeah.
easy to give this skate like an 8.5, 9 on the rating scale, given the size. If you could find the right size that fits your foot, I think you
Right.
could really sit like how you see people on a razor skate for their whole life, and they just love that SL sole plate and backslide, so they're in it. I could see someone skating a 7 and just being like, "This is my
Yep.
jam," and it's light, right? It's not heavy at all. But
No.
there's some missing pieces for me. I think we'll talk about like
Yeah.
missing is the 45-degree strap. I have to have that. I realize that. Even the like double lace eyelet thing, I tried to like get in there and like double
Hmm.
up, and that is not the same. I know people hate 45-degree straps. People love 40. I personally love it. I think it's necessary to keep my heel back, to keep my heel
Hmm.
down. But I also think it's necessary for my toes to get some space. And in this skate, I guess I didn't need
Hmm.
it, right? But for control, I
Very true.
did. For control, I
Yeah.
think I needed the 45 strap. Which brings me to what's next.
Yes. The new shiny. So
So,
those skates, so Montre absolutely killed in those skates. I
yes,
think
he
that might have been
did.
his last skate before he left and went to Icon.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I mean, it's a amazing parting gift, right? To bless us with that edit. He just made those skates look amazing, and they're
Mm-hmm.
not this amazing skate again. Like you talked about, getting a very Roman getting a fairly inexpensive basic skate. USD Sway. Very inexpensive, basic skate. Doesn't matter. I mean, if it's the right skate for you, you could kill on it.
I mean, we watched Farmer try to make switches and end up right back on a sway. And I think
Yep.
there's something to be said about that when you have someone who's as gifted as he is, can skate any skate he wants. Same with Trey,
Mm-hmm.
and they have
Yep.
chose. It feels like they've chosen to be on
They
a
have,
sway.
yeah.
I mean, when you're pro, when you choose your pro skate and it's a sway, I'm like, all
Yeah.
right. So this skate is exciting to me. I've never skated a Montre skate. I
There you
skated
go.
like brands that he was on, but I've never had a Montre skate, so that's exciting because I love Montre. He's just like I think one of the greatest showmen our sport
Amazing.
has. Just a
Yes.
tremendous human as well, nice as all can be, and like still a star, like a star all the time.
No doubt.
What I'm appreciating is this little, this little piece right here where we were
Yeah.
talking about that little break in the shell, so that when
Yep.
I'm looking from above, it's not going to look so long. It's going to have a
Yeah.
little
It's a nice look
contouring.
down.
Yeah.
Very nice look down.
A
Very reminiscent of a USD throne. If you
hundred
look
percent.
with
A
a
hundred
side of a
percent.
blink.
A
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
that thrown toe, or it feels like that thrown toe. I think it's a
Yep.
little bigger than the thrown toe was. That was a little smaller,
Yes,
but
I think
yeah.
so too.
45-degree strap checks my my bucket
Requirement.
list
Yep.
of needs. And like I put my foot in it because I had to, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Excited.
yeah.
And so you can tell me if I'm wrong. The shell break is better on this.
Yes, the shell break is much better. That is a proper 44. I love the sizing on that skate.
I felt the snug toes at the edge, still
Yep.
protected, not worried about smushed, but I felt
Nope.
them snug at the edge where I know if I put my foot somewhere, my whole foot is this the length of the skate, not my foot plus an extra.
Yeah, that's
However
exactly
many,
it.
and we're
Yeah.
talking centimeters, which is crazy, right? We're not crazy. We're talking
It's
centimeters.
it's a lot. Yeah,
It's a
it's a lot.
lot. How is it a lot? It's really a lot. The liner looks plush. They upgraded the liner by far between the two of
Yes.
these.
Yeah, that is a serious liner. It's a lot taller. I think it's got a high top style to it.
Mm.
Um, I actually swapped that out for the Rossi's RL ones,
Okay.
but the stock liners I felt worked well. I just preferred a different liner, something a little less voluminous.
I see,
But
like
again, feet
overall
are different.
voluminous. Like you mean like
Yeah.
up top? Ooh,
Up top, it just felt like it was too much. But it's heat moldable, so feel free to heat mold it and see what works with your foot.
this has a sexy pocket in here in this like ankle
Yeah,
area.
yeah, that heel will fall in really nicely. And then again,
Yeah.
heat moldable. I mean, it's a for what it is. I mean, I think again, boot only, it was like 250, 260. I mean, it's crazy deal that you can get for that skate.
I am 100% excited to try these out, throw these on. I noticed the cuff has got the divot in the back, more articulations
Hmm.
for people like me who love top sides.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna need this back here to keep me from digging in my Achilles. And in general, the cuff is just low. It just feels lower. I'm gonna get out the calipers and measure it, but it just feels
Yeah,
like visually looks lower, and it just feels like when I put it on my foot that it doesn't sit as high up on the bone. Which I
right.
mean, I'm gonna think about like maybe that's better for us in general long run. We don't have like ankle injuries when it's so tall like that, but I just haven't been
Yeah.
used to it. It also has what I've never really tried, which is the
Mm.
internal lace eyelets on the liner. Have you tried
Hmm.
those?
Yeah, it's good. I think it's nice to give you a little bit more support up top when you're putting that liner on, especially if the
Mm.
boot itself is a little flexy and when you tie things up, you can cinch down a little bit. It's all personal preference. I mean, I a lot of people use elastic laces in the liner, so it pulls in, but you don't have to lace it. There's nothing great about looking down and seeing just a spaghetti of laces, and you're like, which one do I even? Where even am I? But if you had something like elastic that just kept it sucked in,
Mm-hmm.
I think it
Mm-hmm.
would be really really good.
That makes a ton of sense. And like I have no idea what this is for. I wish this was for something. I kind
Yeah,
of
I'm not sure.
like I wish it had a function. Like I know it doesn't. It's way too
Yeah,
high for you to slip this through here. Like some really cool
no, don't
origami.
totally try that. You're
Then
gonna
you
hurt
just
yourself.
totally
Yeah,
destroy your ankle.
yeah. That's a bad idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
don't
would
know
be a
what you would
bad
do up there.
idea.
You could probably put your weed in there. I don't know.
No, it's not completely sealed. See,
Oh
like
no, it's not.
no,
Yeah,
you
that's
would
bad.
you would lose
That
your
was bad.
change. Don't put your money when you're skating, right? We all gotta
Don't
have
do
a new
that.
wallet. That's not a
That's
good
right.
wallet. No.
You could clip your car keys to it. Get a little
Oh,
carabiner.
hey, that is the fashion. The carabiner, the Be
It
Freestyle
is, yeah.
Richard with
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
I see
extra
Richard with
tag
the.
floating all over the place. Who knows? Maybe that's it. I
I
am
mean, it's
super
not for me,
stoked.
but
No, no, no. We're too old. We can't.
I hope you like it. Pay close attention to that sole plate. For me, that might be the best sole plate that I've ever skated. The width is great. The length is great. The divot for the Royale groove is great. Um, they changed it. Aesthetically, it looks better now, but I don't think it functions as well. I think this was the epitome of sole plates. So
I see what you're
definitely
saying.
looking forward to hearing what you say.
Yeah.
Back Royales, you can sit down on that on a ledge. It's like butter.
Oh.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, I just got Pilo Erectus, those goosebumps just now.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Thinking about a
You can see
nice.
that's my Royale side. So you can see where I sit down on that sole.
Oh
Like
yeah.
just
You can
yeah,
even
it's
see that
perfect.
you were in the pocket. Like you were
Yeah,
making your own
they
self a spot.
perfect. Yep,
So thank you as always for helping
absolutely.
me along this journey and
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
for joining me for these chats. Like you just are in the middle of nowhere in my mind, but doing this because you got love for the homie and I got love back for you
Always,
100%. So I am going
always.
to rip and rock on these. Give myself probably like 3 weeks to a month to like really beat them up and see what they're like, and then invite you back if you're
Yeah,
willing
I
to
love
do
it.
this
Yeah,
talk all over again.
excited to see some clips with you with white skates. We'll see if that if you can pull that
In
off.
my white skates, you know me. If I got Vinny this close to me, I could pull off some white skates.
That's
Yeah,
true.
come
That's
on,
true.
come
That's
on. But it was
true.
funny you say that. My wife was like, "Wait, white skates?" And I was like, "I know.
I know.
I
They're
have black skates all the time. I like rarely
all the
have
time.
any white skates."
They get
So,
so dirty, man. I had to clean them before I sent them to you. I didn't want to look all like, oh,
did you
this
magic
guy doesn't even
eraser
care.
these for me? Did you get in
A
there?
little, just a little, not a lot.
Oh, Lawrence, come, you're so sweet. I just pinch. You're just the cutest.
I mean, that's the problem with white skates. You got to keep them clean.
You do. You should get the spit shine on there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so those of you who are joining us live, those of you who have joined us post, I hope you've enjoyed just listening to two nerds enjoy each other's company, talk about their love for skates, what they like about skates, what they sometimes don't particularly love about a skate, and how we're different yet the same. I think that's something that the more we talk, the more I talk to like a lot of folks, the more I get to realizing that like we really have so much in common that we don't get a chance to sit down and break bread on and just like learn about each other because we don't give ourselves that space to do so. We sit and prejudged and we just like move on. And it has been a pleasure not only like getting to know you over the last few years again, but like really having this experience of like sharing and swapping stories about particular skate models. Like that is,
Yeah.
I think that's real unique. So thank you,
It's
Lawrence.
very it's very intimate. If that's a good word we could use. I mean, we're both men. We could be confident about that, but
Throw some, like at the bowling alley. I'll put
I
some
mean,
spray in there now.
yeah, a little bit of powder.
But yes, no, as males, as fathers, as
There
husbands,
you
like
go.
we know how to be vulnerable because we've been cleaning up messes for ages. Like at this
Yes.
point, obviously, if you're a parent and you're not comfortable with bodily fluids, sorry.
Yeah. No parent of mine.
No, you're just sitting there like, ew. Oh, welcome back. I can't wait to have you again. To everyone who joined, be on the lookout for the next episode when we come back to talk about the USD Montre Sway. I will, of course, have some content in the middle of me rollerblading. Hopefully, get out and skate, get motivated to skate. As you know, it's the early part of the marriage, so I'm definitely going to get out there and excited to get on them. Hopefully, they last through the honeymoon phase, and I can keep enjoying skating on the USD Sway. But I know that I will keep enjoying having you on. And
Yay.
yeah, thank you. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely, man. I had a great time.
Well, for everyone joining, Peace and love. As always, you got to do the YouTube thing. Like, subscribe. Follow my boy on Blading on the Brain. Follow my boy at 50/50. Follow my boy at The Standard. Follow my boy at Balanced Distribution. Compass. Like, it's just you follow Blading on the Brain. I do some things.
Busy guy.
But yes, tap in with everything that Lawrence is doing. Get excited as I am for when this releases. And in the meanwhile, I'm excited for these. So, everybody, have a wonderful night. Lawrence,